I'll bring this back up. I just want to show you something else first. When you go on As You Learn, go. The exam will be up here. So if you click exam and final, right now it just has the dates, but right under that will be the in-class portion and the take-home portion of the exam. And then if you go down to weekly checklist, the attendance for Monday and Wednesday must be completed by Thursday night. And I'll show you why in a minute. There's no attendance for Friday since you'll be in class for the exam. I didn't put up an attendance. The in-class portion is Friday, February 4th during our class hours. So on Friday, just like you logged in now, you'll log in. I'll give you the password. You'll keep your camera on and you'll take your exam. You don't have to print it. You can write it on paper. And we'll review today and Wednesday. If you open this, that page you saw when I first clicked, that's where this is. So it's an outline. And also today's recordings will be here and Wednesdays will be here. So when I go home tonight, I'll put both of them up from today. Because I teach this class at noon also. So if for some reason for the tests you had something at 2, you could come to my 12 o'clock class. Just have to let me know though, it's a different link. If you go down to attendance, here's Monday and Wednesdays, and you can do them both today if you wanted, but it's just about cheating, and I just want it written out and done beforehand so I know you understand. Another important part is your camera must be on the entire time, and you need to submit your exam before you leave. No excuses, no I forgot. If you're not sure if it's submitted, send me an email of it. So then you have double spot, one of them's gonna work.
Wait, so like when we're in the in-class portion, do you want us to like take a picture of our work and submit it before the class period's over?
Right.
Okay, so like we would just take our phones out and then take a picture. Okay.
Yep. Just like you would for when you work out attendance, you take a picture and attach it, same thing. So yes, you can take your phone out and take a picture. And if you're using your phone for your link, you can always just send me a private message that you're taking your pictures so then I know why you're off the camera, but stay on WebEx and then come back on while it's submitting. But if you have to use your camera for your WebEx link, just let me know. I mean, your phone is what I meant. Some students also, well, you wouldn't want to, yeah, I guess you could, like if you held it up and then took a picture, because when you did that, you wouldn't be on the screen because you'd be in your camera. But I know that sometimes submitting moves a little slow because you're on WebEx. Just stay on. I'll leave extra time that way if you need to. But I had a case where a student 3 times, all 3 times, said they forgot to submit it. Well, maybe once, and maybe a second time it didn't completely go through, but it was just too many times, and I don't want students cheating. So it has to be submitted before you leave. Um, Also, you cannot leave the room. Make sure you've already gone to the bathroom. Make sure you have all the chargers that you need. Um, Any questions? You cannot talk to other people while you're taking your exam. I thought that was like obvious, but I had a student last semester that was talking. She wasn't talking about the test because he or she didn't pass, but any questions? So you could get this done, and I have you write it that way, then I know you didn't just copy paste and you're actually thinking of the words. That's everything in here. So attendance is under attendance, the outline is under the weekly checklist, and the exam will be under exam and final. The take-home portion will be up sometime tonight or tomorrow morning. That way then you can look at it tomorrow, and if you have questions, you can ask me on Wednesday. I'm hoping to cover everything for the in-class portion today. That way you can look over material, and also if you have questions on that, then on Wednesday. So it's 2 parts. There's no new material this week, so use this time to catch up on my math lab and doing my math. Oh, sorry, this says a group assignments, but I didn't do group assignments this year. I used to do like a group assignment / quiz every Friday, but they added more material, and so but when we review, we'll use my math lab. The take-home questions like these. There's 9 questions, 50 points. The in-class portion, 6 questions, 50 points. So the in-class portion is weighted a little heavier because there's only 6 questions. You can use a formula sheet, calculator. Any questions? The My Math Lab problems that you'd want to most rely on are these. So these ones for the in-class portion, which we're going to do those today, and these ones for the take-home portion. You can use a formula sheet, a calculator, pencils. If you use pen, that's fine. Just try not to have to scribble very much. You do not have to print the tests. I don't remember if I said that, but you don't have to print it. You can use lined paper. Just try and be neat and organized, and submit the pictures. Any questions?
Do you have do we have any specific formulas we should put on the formula sheet, or should we just figure that on our own?
I think as we're doing them today, I think, what were they? Marginal revenue. When we're talking right now about linear lines, marginal cost, revenue, and profit is the same as slope, and you'd want slope formula. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Point slope equation. Y1 equals m times x minus x1. Slope intercept form. When we're working with functions and we're finding an equation, we usually want it in that form, y equals mx plus b. Okay, that's a start. I'm trying to remember if there was any other formulas. But as we go, then you could add to it. That way we're doing problems and I'm writing them as we do it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. So the first one, section 1.3, it was only take-home parts. Section 1.4, number 6. And some things like I added because I combined some parts from other ones. And you'll see as we go along. Section 1.4, number 6. And make sure you try a couple of these. You can go in My Math Lab and ask for another problem and it'll regenerate with different numbers and that way you can practice them. Number 6, a company finds that it can produce 20 heaters at 60, whoops, let me put this so you can see it. A company finds it can produce 20 heaters for $6,100 while producing 30 heaters for $8,800. Express the cost Y as a linear function of the number of heaters X. So X is number of heaters. And Y is cost. They're giving us points. X is heaters, so it's 20, and Y is 6,100. 30 heaters is 8,800. And this one, they want us to write cost as a function of heaters. They want us to write the equation. On the test, though, I broke it into two parts. I first had you find marginal cost, which when it's linear is slope. And then I had you find the cost equation or cost function. So this is the formula I just gave you. And we use these 2 points. 8,800 minus 6,100 over 30 minus equals 207. I don't remember if it's on the in class. I think it might be on the take home where you have to explain the slope. Remember, slope is change in y over change in x. Y is cost. X is the number of heaters. Each additional heater, the cost goes up $270. So when you're explaining the slope, you're always the x goes up by 1 and the slope goes up or down by whatever this value is. It goes up if it's positive, it goes down if it was negative. Any questions on that part? To find the equation, we use y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, which means you need 1 point and a slope. Well, we found the slope, and you can use either one of the 2 points. I would choose the smaller values. Like this in for x1 and y. No, the test is not multiple choice. You'll work it out. It is partial credit. For instance, finding the slope, that's 5 points, and finding the equation is another 5 points. So show all your work so that I know if it's a careless mistake, I know what you did. Write the equation that you're going to plug into. Distribute. The 6100 to the other side.
Excuse me, I'm confused.
Okay.
So I thought that the slope was 270, right?
Yes. Whoa, how did I
So,
get 20? I switched them. I'm sorry.
oh, okay, all right. I thought I did something wrong.
Oh, you were right. I'm wrong. Sorry. The slope should be on the outside, and it was 270. Distribute 270. Thank you. So your slope is 270, your y-intercept is 700. Are there any questions on that?
Yeah, do you like care if we do it a different way to get the same answer?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Do you use the y equals mx plus b and solve for b?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's fine. So another way of doing it, you can use y equals mx plus b. You'd plug your point in, was 6100. Slope was 270 times, which is 12. So you could use this solve for b and then plug it in. To this, you'd get 700. Yes, there's different ways of doing them. Just show your work. Any questions on that? I was bringing up a list of everyone who's here today. Oh, I don't have my phone with me. I think I can get it to save. Are you guys able to see everyone who's here? Like everyone's name?
Yes.
Can someone take a picture of them? So like make it big and get a picture of a group and then another picture and send them to me? I will give you 2 extra credit points on the test for my mistake. I left my phone at home. Someone will send it, right? Email
I
or
can
text?
send it.
Okay. The next one is also number 6. It's in 2.1. So these sections are the sections in my math lab. Number 6. The profit from the production and sale of specialty golf hats is given by P of X equals 20X minus 4,000, where X is the number of hats produced and sold, and we know P of X is profit. If it doesn't specify hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, then you assume dollars. Part A. Producing and selling how many hats will give a profit of 6,000? What you want to do is see what they're asking for, first of all. We want to know how many hats, which means we're looking for X. They gave us profit, so that would be P of X. So you want to read the question and decide where you need to put the number and what you're looking for. Thank you, Haley. So we're putting that in for profit. It was 6,000. And just solve for X. So the main thing is making sure you know where to plug things in. Add the 4,000 to the other side. You should get 500. So 500 hats will give us a profit of $6,000. The second part wants to know how many hats must be produced and sold to avoid a loss. Avoiding a loss is the same as break-even quantity. That's probably something you would want to put on your formula sheet, that these two are equal. And when you're finding them, you're either setting profit equal to 0 or revenue. And this was one of the Friday homework assignment. You got to find break-even quantity and you set revenue equal to cost. So to avoid a loss or break-even quantity, they mean the same thing. You set profit equal to 0 or revenue equal to cost, depending on which one you have. In this case, we have profit. So we set our equation equal to 0. add the 4,000 over and divide by 20. So you need to sell 200 hats to avoid a loss. Avoiding a loss means your profit is not negative. That's the same thing as breaking even, because the amount that you're selling is the same as the amount that you owe. You broke even. And that's 200 hats. Questions on that one? Same section. The number of banks in the county for selected years from 1980 to 2009 is given by y equals a negative 379.1x plus 18,437. X is the number of years after 1980, and Y is the number of banks.
Excuse me.
Yes,
Is this you said this is still section 2.1?
yes.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
So there's two problems on the in-class portion from 2.1. Most of them were the higher sections because like in 1.1 you're solving equations. Here it adds the story problem. Okay, so for this first part we want to know the number of banks in the country. Oh, what year? Sorry, I should look it up here. In what year would the number of banks be 6,306? So we want to find year. X is year. So that means we're plugging in for Y. And it was 6,306. To solve, we'd subtract the constant. Get a negative 12,000. So and then divide by the negative 397.1.1.
Excuse me, isn't X supposed to be negative 379.1 instead of 397.1?
I need to slow down. I knew my number wasn't coming up. Or this should be 379. Thank you. I think I need to go back to bed. It came out to 31.999, right? Now, of course, we're gonna round that to 32. If I don't specify what to round things to, then it's up to you. If it's money, dollars and cents. But for like this one, you can round it to 32 if it doesn't say. This would be 32 years after 1980. Now, if they want to know the year, then you need to add it on to 1980. So it would be in 212. You want to be careful of that in the years. There is a scatter plot one where they give you the years, and when you go to plug it in, you have to convert it to X because it's years after a certain value. Is there any questions on that? There's another one I wrote down here because I made it in two parts. How many banks in the year 2000? You need to be careful. You don't want to plug 2000 in for X because it's years after 1980. So to find X, you have to take the 2000 and subtract 1980. You plug in 20. And we'll get 10,855 banks. So in the year 2000, there's 10,855 banks. Any questions on that? Anytime you're plugging in something or taking it back out, always check your units. In this case, it's years after 1980. Any questions on that? Section 2.2, it's really not a problem, but it's kind of similar to number one. I ask a question about R squared, the trend line, and the point being an exact model of the line. And this one, notice that you can draw a straight line and they all will land on the line. That means it's an exact linear model. It also means R squared is 1. And all the points are on the line. The line is called a trend line. So I will ask something about that. Maybe I'll say if it's exact linear model, what is R squared? Or if R squared is 1, what do you know about the points and the trend line? All the points are on the line. But I will ask one question on the in-class portion about this. Any questions on that? Everything else from this section, the graphing wise, will be on the take home, number 5 and number 7. So you will not need to use Desmos on the in-class portion. 2.3. On section 2.3, number 3, and I added a couple things that we'll also do.
Quick question.
Mm-hmm.
These problems we're doing, are they on ASU Learn so we can go back and look at them?
They're on my math lab.
My math lab? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so if you go to your homework and bring up 2.3, there'll be problems. If you go to number 3, it might be a little different number, but it'll be the same problem. And then you can click try another, and it'll give you another one and just change the numbers. That way you can practice. And it'll help you get your homework done. So for number 3, they're giving us revenue. A manufacturer of automobile air conditioners has a total revenue of 101.5. Total cost 50.30x plus 58368, where x is the number of units sold, produced and sold. Use a non-graphing method to find the number of units needed to break even. We want to find the break-even quantity. So from the couple problems ago, the formula I gave you for break-even was profit is equal to 0 or revenue equals cost. And so we would set revenue and cost equal. Make sure you show all your work. That way, if you do make a careless mistake, I'm only going to take off a half a point. We just need to solve. Since there's an x over here, I'm going to subtract the 50.30 to the other side. And then divide by the 5120. Is there any questions? I think from what I've seen on the attendance, everyone's okay with solving the equation once they know what to do. I think, especially the linear. But if there is a question, stop me, please. When you divide those, get 114. So in order to break even, you need 114. Or to avoid a loss, you need 114. It was units. Automobile air conditioning unit. I did a couple other questions just to make sure you know where to plug things in. What is the revenue when 20 units are sold? Well, that's telling us to use the revenue equation. And units is our X value. So we want to put 20 in for X. So when 20 units are produced and sold, we make a revenue of $2,030. Any questions on that? How many are produced when the total cost is $16,400? Well, that tells us we're using the cost equation, and if we're looking for the number being produced, that's our x. So this is going in for function, or y. Any questions on that? So we're using the cost function, 16,400 equal to 50.30 x plus subtract this to the other side. And then divide by the 50/30. When you're talking about cost, you never round up, even if these were both 9s. You don't have enough money to finish the last unit. So it would still be 210. Where profit and revenue, you have to round up in order to hit the value. So whenever you have to round to a whole number, if it's costs, you just drop the decimal off. Revenue and profit, you round up. Doesn't matter what the decimal is, you round up. Any questions on that one? Number 4. And if you want these exact problems, I'm recording it, so you could always fast forward to see the problem. I'll upload it tonight. The demand for a certain product, P plus 4Q equals 380, and the supply, P minus 8Q equals 80. And P is the price and Q is the number of products. Find the price at which the quantity demand equals the quantity supplied. That's the same thing as saying equilibrium. Equilibrium point is when supply equals demand. And you want to make sure you find the point. So you want to find P and Q. You could use substitution, or you could use elimination. And I won't specify on the in-class part. It's up to you how you want to do it. We could multiply this bottom row by a -1 so that we'll have a positive P and a negative P and they'll cancel. Could have also multiplied this top by 2 and we would have had 8Q and -8Q, but then this number would get kind of large. So P plus 4Q equals 380. And negative P plus 8Q equals a negative 80. Adding down. We get Q equal 12Q equals 300. Divide by the 12. And we get 25. So the quantity would be 25. To find the price, you plug into either one of the equations. I'm going to plug into the top one. P plus 25Q P plus 4 times Q, which is 25, equals 380. You could have plugged into either, but I knew 4 times 25 was 100. And subtracting the 100 is 280. So the price is 280 and the quantity is 25. Any questions on that one?
Where did you get the -1 for the second equation? Like when you're doing in the parentheses.
Okay, so what I did was I looked at both equations and I knew these were both a P. So if one of them was negative, they would drop out. So then I chose to multiply by a -1. So then I had negative times positive is a negative P. Negative times the -8 became a positive 8. And negative times 80 became negative 80. I could have instead multiplied the top one by 2.
So you're just doing that to try to get an equation without a p-value?
Right.
Okay.
Wanted to get the P to drop out. You could have also made the Q's drop out by multiplying the top one by 2, but then the numbers are larger. 2P plus 8Q equals 760. And then the P minus 8Q equals 80. So I could have had the Q's drop out first, had 3P equals 840, and divide by my 3. So you could have found Q or P first by knocking out the Q's. Then you'd go back and plug in for P to find Q. But either way. Any questions on that? How long number? I don't want to rush this one. We'll do number 9 at the beginning in the next class. Or if you watch my noon class, I did do it. But you have to set up the percents. So you're setting up 2 equations, and then you either use substitution or elimination like we did here. But we'll do that next class. But if you want to try it beforehand, here's the 2 answers, and you could try it. But I don't want it, it's 2:51. I don't want to rush it. So this is the only one that's on the in-class portion that we haven't gone over yet. Everything else for the in-class portion we did today.